I call to order the meeting of the Mayor and Council of Borough of River Edge. Agenda June 27, 2022, revised. Regular meeting. I ask everyone to give a moment of silent recognition of all the different factions that are alive in our country, and hopefully through more reasonable debate, we might be able to find some unity. Please stand. Councilwoman Bastide, if you could lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, statement of compliance with the Statement of compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act. This meeting complies with the Open Public Meeting Act by notification of January 7th of this location, date and time, into the town news and the record, and by posting of the same on the municipal bulletin board and the borough website, and filing a notice of the same with the municipal clerk. Notice of this meeting via the June 14, 2022 Sunshine Notice was sent to the town news and the record and was posted on the municipal bulletin board at the Borough Hall and on the Borough website. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Bastide? Here. Councilman Canigo?
Here.
Council President Kaufman?
Here.
Councilwoman Kinsella?
Here.
Councilwoman Malalari?
Here.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen is absent. Mayor Papaleo?
Here. Okay, so we have on our agenda first to go into closed session, Resolution -205, go into closed session, exclude the public, closed session docket 22-6/27-1, litigation update by Chief Attorney, 22-6/22-2, attorney-client privilege, insurance requirements. Could I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. I believe this requires a roll call. Roll call.
Councilwoman Bastide?
Yes.
Councilman Canigo?
Yes.
Council President Kaufman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Malalari?
Yes.
Call back into order the meeting, public meeting of the mayor and council, June 27th, revised regular meeting. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Bastide? Here. Councilman Canigo?
Here.
Council President Kaufman?
Here.
Councilwoman Kinsella?
Here.
Councilwoman Malalari?
Here.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen is absent. Mayor Papaleo?
Here. Okay, so now we're up to agenda item number 6, approval of the minutes. May I have a motion and second to approve the minutes of the mayor and council regular meeting and closed session meeting of June 13th, 2022?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, any abstain? We're good with that? Good.
Oh, I
Okay,
abstain, sorry.
you abstain?
Because I was not there.
One abstention, Council President Kaufman. Okay, presentation, Memorial Park Subcommittee recommendation. Gentlemen, thank you. Well, we didn't keep you too long. I think you knew it was at 7, right?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, Councilman, Councilwomen.
For your record, Mr. Costa, would you give your name and corporate? No, you need the other one. We don't have that? Hold on. It's right here. That's okay.
Not sure where he was going.
You two may wish to switch seats if, or you don't have to, or just pull over. I've sat over there, and I know sometimes it's like right on.
Okay, I'm gonna go over there.
Great. Is it Tim? It is Tim, right? Michelle, it's Tim. Will he hear us?
Yes, sir.
Activate that camera?
Oh, don't worry about it.
Okay, okay, next.
You can move back and forth. What's that? What do you do with this? Oh, you could do it. All right. Mayor, good evening. For the record, Robert Louis Costa. I am the borough engineer, at least up until December, Mayor, unless you don't reappoint me and have me back. And if everybody says no, then tonight would probably be one of the last nights.
I think we've been relatively pleased with you, Mr. Costa, over the how many decades?
Decades. That's how old I'm getting. That's how sad it really is. Anyway, this evening, there was a subcommittee, I guess it was weeks ago, right? Discussion, and again, what's on the board, I really can't take credit for it because it is actually, in my opinion, a very, very good idea. Jason, to my right, the DPW director, actually came up with this, and then sitting down, obviously with the committee and members of my staff, and we looked at it and we tweaked it up just a little bit. But the entire idea is to take a portion of Memorial Park, adjacent to the Little League fields, just to the south, remove the basketball court, remove the hockey rink, take those improvements out, and build the girls' softball at that location. You're going to have to redo some of the paths, take out the cul-de-sac on the westerly side. I don't have a pointer, and I apologize. And then the idea is to then build a parking lot on the easterly side. At one point, take the stand, the concession stand, add an addition to that, and that would be the headquarters for the rec at that point. And then demolish the building to the southwest corner, and then reclaim that land for recreational use there. And then the other part of the phases would be to build a hockey rink, redo the basketball court, rebuild the hockey rink, and then put in the amenities to do the pathways in there. Obviously, this is conceptual. There'll be drainage improvements that would be part of the park, because if anybody's been in the park after it rains, obviously there's a lot of ponding, a lot of flooding in the park. We anticipate doing drainage improvements. We've come up with some estimates for all of the work, which is, Greg, if you go to the left. We're bringing this into 3 phases. Basically, 3 phases to redo the paths, remove all the existing conditions that are out there, build the ball field, build the basketball court, the hockey rink, the improvements to the snack stand, the various paths throughout the park, probably somewhere around $3 million. The question becomes whether or not the council, if we can get additional funding, there's going to be some funding from the county. We can go for additional funding with the county and put the money from KBG and try to relocate it or repurpose it to this site. Basically, in a nutshell, that's the concept. For the park. Again, yes.
Jason, please chirp. For the record, state your name, please.
Jason Melito, Department of Public Works Superintendent, River Edge. So we were tasked about, like Rob said, 6 weeks ago, trying to come up with a location for the field to add an additional softball field in the borough of River Edge. After reviewing all of the locations that River Edge owns, this is the only location that will be able to accept the field. So I just want this council and governing body to know that.
Jason, speak up a little bit.
Besides the floodplain that we've been looking at, obviously that there's problems. In doing this plan, obviously there would be a lot of moving, like Rob said, of the fields, the basketball courts, and the parking lot. I just want everybody to know they're not losing any of the playground area. The area up top that's in Phase 3 actually got expanded. So that would accept the additional playground where the basketball courts are going. So again, this is the only place that the field will fit, and the only direction that pretty much cosmetically it would look good. That's about all I have. It is a three-phase plan. Phase 2 is obviously in the blue. You can't see it on the bottom. That's a lot of fencing, dugouts, pathways, things like that. And then Phase 3 would be pretty much reconstructing the playground area by the pavilion. Also, irrigation will be also added to this project. So besides drainage, you would also have irrigation. The one parking lot on one side is 28 spots. Again, we can slim that down a little bit. That will actually help the parking situation that we have now. Right now, we just have cul-de-sacs where everybody's just free-for-all parking and trying to get out of there after games. It's not really great. So that's what this committee has come up with for consideration.
Okay. So, Councilman Kanigo, I think you took lead on this.
I did. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You might just want to pull the mic a little bit towards you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I'll speak up. So let me begin by saying thank you for the presentation to both gentlemen and for the teams who have worked on it. I think this is a terrific idea. So let me back up a little bit. We've been talking about the possibility of building something for the girls in our town, something that is equal to what the boys have, okay? And the boys have great facilities. We're not looking to take anything away from the boys at any point, but we want to bring the girls into the 21st century where they should be. And it's time that we do something. We've been racking our brains trying to figure out where to do something. We initially went to the school board, tried to figure out some way to work with the school board. The school board wouldn't really work with us. We then started looking at the KBG field down by the swim club. Unfortunately, the weather patterns are no longer working with us. 100-year storms seem to happen every year. The field is underwater more than it is not underwater these days in September, October, in those times, and even as we've seen it earlier in the year. So, putting a lot of money to build new things down there doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. And here we have this gem of a park that has been well taken care of, but is aged. It needs some TLC. It needs some revisions. There are pools of water in areas. The roots of certain trees are well overgrown, making it very difficult to walk along other areas. I know Shade Tree will be one of the stakeholders who will be brought into this, and they will chime in. We're not looking to get rid of trees. We will plant new trees. We will plant arborvitae. Some are shown in this very preliminary drawing, and again, I think we all agree this is a very preliminary drawing. There will be a lot more greenery added as necessary. We will take the residents into consideration at every step to make sure that they're put out as little as possible. And this is a very viable project for us. We have funds that can be redirected. We have ways that we can go for after other funds, and I believe our borough administrator, whether today or in future meetings, will take us a little through some of these processes. And I think it's a very real goal, and it will update the park. So I'm very excited by this project, and I hope that everybody on this council gives it serious and due consideration, because I think our girls deserve it.
Okay, I open it for the council for questions and discussions. Well, actually, I'd like to just hold it a second. Mr. Costa,
Yes.
Phase 1, it says construct Little League fields. I'm confused by that. Can you speak to that item? Item number 5 on Phase 1. Because we have the Little League fields, and they don't look like they're
Obviously would be,
portion.
yeah, it should be the softball for the girls' softball. That's just a typo.
Okay, so then, so that is item number 6, everyone, item number 5, everyone, of Phase 1 would be construct the
Regal.
softball field.
Right, Regal, correct.
Okay, because that confused me. And I didn't, and my next question was going to be, when are we constructing the Little League, the softball field? But we are, that's Phase 1. Okay.
Phase 1.
So in phase one, if, just to clarify it, what you're recommending to us, what the committee's recommending to us, I want to be fair to everyone, is that we're doing everything but the, we're doing that section there, but we're not putting in,
Yellow's phase one. So everything outlined in yellow is phase one. Anything in blue would be phase two, and anything in red would be phase three.
I see the red, I'm having a hard time finding the blue.
Blue is on the right side.
This is supposed to be blue. It's printed out as red, but this is the blue.
This is the blue?
Yeah. You see the field is outlined in blue.
Yes, but we already have the field, so that would be phase three, and that would be basically,
That's phase two. That's why it's, since we already have the field, that's why it's the lower cost in phase.
okay, so phase two is to upgrade the Little League fields.
Correct.
Okay, so, and then phase three is essentially
The paths.
the paths
And the jungle.
And playground equipment.
and the playground
In
equipment.
the
And
building?
drainage.
Yeah, and the building would actually be part of phase two.
Oh, I thought it says it's in construct new recreation building in phase three.
That's supposed to be phase two.
Yeah, we have it down as phase three.
Should be phase two.
Okay, it could be phase two or phase three. The good thing about this is,
Make a move on it.
The later phases are fluid.
yeah,
Okay,
once you get past phase one, phase two and three.
okay, so for the public's benefit who are looking at this, phase one is the center part, and we can see the yellow line. Phase two is off to the right, and phase three is off to the left.
Correct.
So, once we begin work with phase one, we're going to lose the playground until we get to phase three. Is that correct?
Correct.
I think it's good that the public knows that, so that there's no concern about it.
You're not gonna lose all the playgrounds, Mayor. You're just gonna lose the little playground that's off to the east
Just the
side.
little one.
Yeah, the main playground would still be in play until we
Okay.
get to that stage.
So I think that's important, because parents would like to know that. Okay, now, right now, we're saying phase one, phase two, phase three. If we do it in three phases, what would be, and we gave you approval in a relatively expedient way, what years would phase one, two, and three be occurring in?
It all depends on when you're giving me the checkbook.
Yeah,
The minute you say you have the checkbook, we will go to work.
well, let me rephrase it then. How long would phase one take, from start to finish?
Phase one, I would say, and again.
Say
difficult-
months.
Let's say 6 months.
6 months.
6 months.
And if we decide to do it in...
Now, the only issue with, again, this is a turf field, so you need the turf to come in, because if you open the fields too quickly, it's an issue with the turf.
Okay. And phase two, ballpark from start to finish, if it's a separate phase.
We're not doing artificial. I'm sorry, Mayor.
Phase two, from start to finish, if it's a separate phase, how long will that take? Ballpark,
I would say same, 6 months.
6 months. And phase three, from start to finish, essentially another 6 months?
Maybe a little bit less, I would think, on phase three.
5 months. Okay, so we're talking multi-year if we're doing in phase.
Correct.
Now, I do know, because I was able to attend the last meeting, the last half of the last meeting, due to a conflict that had nothing to do with anything, and I'm sorry I wasn't able to be there for the whole thing, that you had considered recommending to council that we do all three phases at once.
Correct.
Okay. Now, if we did all three phases at once, how long would that take? Ballpark.
8 months, start to finish.
8 months. Okay. So that could occur in 1 year.
Maybe less. If I can scream every day like I normally do, maybe a little bit less. Maybe.
Never heard you yell.
If you were on Continental a few weeks ago with public service,
Well, I was glad you were yelling at them for that.
Yes.
Strongly. Okay. So I just wanted to, I wanted to make sure that that was clear to the public and to the council. And now I open up to the council for discussion, comment, questions.
Is there a difference in what it costed in 3 phases or in 1 phase?
Here's the issue is this. If you do it in, again, 3 phases, the problem is you're going to go in, you're going to construct, obviously, let's say you construct phase one. Council decides we're going to do this first, we're going to build the softball field and some of the appurtenances around it. The problem is now we go to phase two. The equipment is obviously heavy machinery. You're going to probably damage some stuff. And then what happens, the public is probably going to be aggravated because you start one project, you finish it, and now all of a sudden, a year later, you're ripping stuff up and you're starting again. Then you go to phase three, and another year or two down the road, and you're doing the same thing. And you're within the park area, you're surrounded by residents. It's 3 years of aggravation. Better to have 8 months of aggravation, get it done, get it finished, one contractor, one performance bond, one person for this gentleman to sue if necessary. That's basically it. If you can find the money, plus with everything going on with the supply chain issues and all the above, obviously, everybody here remembers Continental. We couldn't even get pipe, and that's what dragged that project out, that we couldn't get pipe delivered to the job site to finish that project expeditiously. I don't know if the same problem is going to happen on this project, if you guys say yes, but it's much easier to do it in one phase. If the council is committed, Mayor, if you're committed to this and the council is, one phase, let's get the concept down to what everybody agrees to, bid it, and see where the bids come in. That would be my recommendation here.
But to go back to the councilwoman's question, are you saying that you don't see any practical savings in doing it in doing it all at once?
No, you do. I would say you do.
And would you say that's ballpark 5%, 10%, 20%? Or you just really couldn't even?
Economists tell me there's no inflation, so I'm not sure. We've raised interest rates in the past few months.
Yeah.
You know, how do you predict the future, Mayor?
Okay, I just wanted to make sure,
Do
because
I
I'm sure
think
that.
right now, some of the construction costs, are they leveling out? Maybe. I don't know, we haven't seen it yet, where the prices are going down. So again, if this is gonna be a multi-year project, I think it's very difficult to predict the future right now. Again, I don't know if the Fed is gonna get inflation under control, if the gas prices don't come down, the fuel prices, if construction materials, it's very difficult.
I was asking it more as a rhetorical question for the public who are viewing, so that it was clear, because you didn't actually answer the question she asked, and I knew why you didn't, because of the reason I wanted you to say again that it's very hard to predict.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
How much money do we have for KBG right now?
We have $527,500.
Okay.
But there's two phases to reappropriating. First, we would have to go through the process of the county open space, reappropriation of the grant like we did when we changed the fitness courts to the hockey rink. So there's that facet which takes some time. The second part would be adopting a reappropriation ordinance, but that is much quicker. So it's just a matter of time. The timetable is more on the county, and right now they're processing current applications, then they'll go back to reappropriating grants. And also we have $240,620 in this year's budget that was for improving the hockey rinks and the batting cages. So that money could be put together, and we're waiting for that reappropriation to go through. And it will be approved, it's just the process of going through it. So we would have ballpark $768,000 in our coffers.
And do you think we'd be able to get more county money for this?
Right now, not with the grant program, because the deadline has passed. One ways you could save money is, like with the playgrounds, there is this vendor called Game Time. They do many playgrounds throughout the state, and every other year or so, they open up playground grants, which you only pay for the installation, so that could help. Nothing's been opened this year. In 2020, they did have the grant. program, we'll look at it as much as possible, because all we have left, the balance we have in our open space trust fund is $48,305.
Other questions? Councilwoman Bastide?
So we're replacing the grass on the fields with turf?
No, grass, grass.
Because you said
Grass.
turf.
I did say turf, well,
Because I want to make sure we're not having a negative environmental impact.
no, it's grass.
Okay.
What I meant to say, grass, not turf, but obviously the grass has to take, because if you open the fields too quickly, obviously they're gonna get ripped up, so.
Okay. And we're getting rid of the, first of all, I think this is a really exciting project. So I just want to say that. But we're getting rid of the camp office as it exists today.
2 reasons.
Okay.
One, the idea is to put the rec office in there. I think that was part of the recommendation.
Right.
The other
So-
thought is, if you're at that side of the park, let's just say you have small children, you can't see them because you got a building in the way. This will open that up, it opens up the entire space, so security-wise, I thought it was a good idea. And then if you wanted to rebuild that building, it's probably cheaper, easier, put it next to the existing building. You have bathroom facilities there, you have cooking facilities there, and then you just attach an office to it or whatever other needs that's required. I just think it centralizes it there, and then it opens up more free space on the south side.
I just am a little concerned about eliminating bathroom facilities, because right now we have bathroom facilities in the camp office, and then we have bathroom facilities at the field, so I would be a little concerned about eliminating 2 bathroom facilities. I'd like to see if we could maybe add those back in, or keep them, or put them somewhere else. I also think there's a lot of programming that goes on around that camp office, and I'm not feeling like a central hub for programming, like for July 4th, for different events. So I just think maybe we should think about, we're eliminating that programming space. And the
Originally,
whereas-
your original design, though, had a different building, right? It had a building next to, I guess, that lighter pink space, just, yeah, right around that area right there. It had a building out there that was going to be the same kind of central hub, just updated.
I just think I'm not a fan of eliminating that altogether. I think that we need that, along with the additional bathroom
I agree,
facilities.
I agree.
So I would just.
In which case, we wouldn't do the one at the bottom. We would just leave the snack stand the way it is.
Leave it the way it
And
is.
build a standalone building to replace.
What we're trying to do is give more open green space.
Right.
Kids can play around, and then the other thing was with the parking lot, we don't want, in the winter time, when she's trying to schedule events, and people are coming in to sign up for those events, what the thought was the parking lot's right there.
Right there next to it.
So
Yeah,
you could park, go into the building, come out, instead of walking through the park, that could.
It's, again, it's a challenge that I'm just putting on the table,
No,
that I think
and
we
we-
should not eliminate that, and we do need the extra bathrooms, for sure.
I think that makes a lot of sense personally.
I would like to have our CFO do a similar analysis like he did for the Borough Hall project before we kind of jump in any further, so I would hope that we would get a similar presentation from him.
Yeah, but our next meeting would be in July, which is not a problem, but we only have one in July. So we would be, all needed to be prepared to discuss this and make a decision then, because we have to go through the process of, with the county. And this probably wouldn't begin until next March.
Best is gonna be spring of next year.
Okay.
And
It's
again,
just, it's a lot of money to not ask Chris to come.
No,
and give a
I think you
presentation
should.
to us.
I'm not disagreeing that we do this in July, I'm just advising council that when we come, we have to make sure we've read it all and we're ready to make a decision one way or another, because if we have to push it off to August, then,
well,
Yeah, but can I just ask one other thing?
of
I'm
course,
sorry. Personally, for me, I would find it really helpful if we could do an on-site kind of walkthrough with the professionals, because I have a hard time kind of visually understanding, like, the parking lot. Like, I get it, but I think it would be nice to just kind of have a walkthrough with the professionals of where
Absolutely.
things are going to be, because I want to understand the impact that this may have on residents. We want to be really careful about and minimizing that.
without objections, we'll ask Lizette to set that up. Is there objection? May I also, is there openness to the council for a redesign so that the park office sits to where essentially the double delta is? The triangle with the next triangle right about there. Is the council open to that idea?
Yes.
All right, without objection, we'll ask Mr. Costa to relocate that. I understand the argument for putting it next to the parking lot, but either way, you're going to get out of the car and you're going to walk on a path. And to just walk a little bit further on the path, I don't think is that big of a deal. And I think that.
Again, it's,
Yeah.
Again, Mayor, just like Councilman Canigo said, we're going to bring in shade tree, probably recreation a little bit too. I would assume that you'd want their opinions.
We do.
So this is just a concept, how the
Well,
field
we want the concept that they see, the concept that we're looking to
I got you.
have their support on. So a drawing that would place it over there would be a better drawing with bathrooms.
not an issue, not a problem.
Right.
Mayor,
So-
if I could
Wait,
just.
I
I'm
think we're
sorry.
still at Councilwoman
I
Bastide.
just had just one other question. With the addition of the parking lot, again, I want to make sure that we're not having a negative environmental impact because we're adding more coverage, because we're going to still replace the basketball courts and replace the hockey rink, right?
Yeah,
And add the parking lot? Or is it a trade-off because the cul-de-sacs are there anyway? So,
it's a trade-off. Actually, it's a little smaller.
okay. Okay.
Mr. Costa, you want to say something?
Just going back to phase 1, 2, 3. The other thing is also logistically, because there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the park, just to keep that in check. So if you push this project out over multiple years, logistically, to move children in and out for summer camp and stuff like that. And then again, obviously, when you have heavy equipment and construction, that becomes a nuisance and a danger also, so.
I think it makes sense to do it all at once if we can, if economically it's feasible.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Mr. Costa, the summer camp requires the current building. When would that current building come down if we approved it and it did occur next year? Would you be able to work around
What I
the
would
summer
do is
camp schedule?
keep the building intact, build a new building, and then knock the old building down.
Okay, so that the camp would be able to function.
Absolutely.
And we would have a lot of little kids in the park. Are you
Fence it off.
relatively comfortable with the safety that those children would be?
We need to fence it off, to obviously fence off the construction area properly, the staging areas, so on and so forth. And then obviously, when you have dump trucks coming in and out and backhoes moving around, you need to have, obviously, supervision.
Okay.
Logistically, it becomes just a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Because it's still an active park, and it's going to maintain an active park.
Yeah, and our residents love the park. Okay. Other, Councilwoman Bastide?
Good right now, thank
Any
you.
other member from council? Question, comment?
Just one other, do we have to knock down if we're gonna keep the
You
camp
can
on-
keep it.
You can keep it. Is
Just
it?
renovate it?
If,
Again, it's
You mean the old office you're talking about?
yeah, the one that's currently there, I mean.
You know, one of the thoughts has been that Jason actually had a very good thought on this, is that you've got this pavilion where people have parties and so forth for their, 4-year-old, and then you've got a camp office, and on the other side is the playground. So you can't be eating your birthday cake and watching your kid play there. So we're thinking of like, Jason was thinking, I don't want to say we, it was Jason's idea
The
here.
flow.
Like move it on the other side, and then you've got the playground right next to the pavilion, and it all just kind of makes sense.
Okay.
right. Again, it's whatever the desire is of the council or the various committees. Obviously, once you get the input from, obviously, the other committees that'll be set up or commissions, then from that point, to get this project up and running by next year, by this, let's say, mid-spring, late spring of next year, things have to go in motion pretty quickly.
So would that require us to have Rec and Shade Tree chime in before the July meeting? What would the liaison say?
For rec, yeah, our meeting is July 15th.
And our council meeting is the 11th, so we would be,
Lisa's the
yeah.
shade tree. I mean,
Okay, So why don't we move ahead with, we're going to, Ms. Apertola is going to set up a on-site meeting. And then we're going to hopefully make a decision on the 11th of July. And then that decision we'll ask for input on the decision from Shade Tree and from REC. And hopefully that will be complete, and we could have a final decision, approval, on the August, or is that going to be, in the timeline, would that be final? All right, so we're going to make a tentative decision on the 11th, and then we're going to have Shade Tree and REC chime in, and maybe other groups.
Chris, we'll get numbers from Chris.
Chris will do a full CFO, and then in the August meeting, we'll have to make a decision, and if someone is going to be absent for the August meeting, then they're going to need to write a memo to the council on what their thoughts are. And that way we can make the decision, and Lizette could then go to the county.
What's our August meeting?
August meeting is,
I think it's the 8th.
I don't think I'm here on the 8th.
yes, that's on the 8th.
I'm likely not here on the 8th.
Actually, I'm not here on the 8th either. But I
Can we
think
move the meeting?
Can we move the
switch it
meeting?
to a different Monday?
we could, I think, move it to,
15th?
I'm not here on the 15th. I'm not here actually.
15th.
I'm here on the 1st,
Can we have a
August 1st.
special meeting just on this subject on a different date?
Yes, we could. We absolutely could do that. Is there a chance people would be available on August 17th?
I'm not here. There we go.
No.
August 21st, 24th rather, or 23rd.
23rd, you said?
23rd or the 24th.
Yeah.
24 is supposed to be land use, I think.
Yeah, we could, but we'd have a special meeting, so we would have it at like 5 o'clock.
Okay.
And since it's a special meeting, I don't really like doing video meetings for
I'd rather not.
the decision
No,
of the
no.
council. That's not a good idea.
I can,
The first week
What
of,
about the 1st of August?
yeah, I could do the 1st of August, but I thought somebody couldn't.
I think Ellen said the 8th,
I
that's the
couldn't do
following.
the 8th. I
Yeah, but-
can't do the 8th.
But the 1st,
What about the 1st?
I can do,
Sooner is actually better.
This is so fast.
I can do the 1st.
Do we want to move the council meeting, or do we want to do a special meeting? I see no reason why we couldn't move the council meeting, but I want to make sure everybody's comfortable with it.
let's move it, this way everybody can be there, and then we can be done until September.
All right.
I'll also find out if we can change our 2022 application and not wait until an award and then reappropriate, because I think we solicited like 300, somewhere 300,000
Yeah.
for Brookside.
Okay.
And that
Since-
could be,
Sorry, since we're moving it, do you want to make it a little early since it's August? Do you want to make it 6 o'clock instead of 7?
It doesn't affect me. I don't know if it affects anybody else. Would 6 o'clock be better than 7?
That's fine.
All right, so we're going to move it to that time. I was going to ask Mr. Lagana a question. Hold on, let me, I lost it. So we're moving it to the 1st, where of course we'd have to publish. That's not a
that's the
problem.
easiest of all.
If I remember, I'll remember. Do I need a motion to move the meeting, council meeting?
No, I would just do it via special meeting, to tell you the truth. But yeah, I don't think you need a motion to actually approve.
Well, we really would like to just move.
Just move it. No, as long as you comply with the notice requirements, you don't need a formal motion to move.
All right, then let's just have an informal. All those in favor of moving the meeting from August 8th to August 7th, please say aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, 8th to August 1st, please
Aye.
say aye.
Aye.
At 6 p.m.
At 6 p.m.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? All right.
Okay.
I think the council, by what I'm hearing, is looking to move forward with this, but of course, we won't be able to give you the final approval until August 1st.
Okay. And between now and 2 weeks, we're going to meet out in the park.
Okay. I'd like for you to stay right there for a moment. We're going to open to any item on the agenda. If the three of you could just move back and not leave. That would be good. All right, could I, is there any further discussion with our current presentation? Hearing none, could I have a motion and second to open to public comments on any item on the agenda?
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We are now open to the public. If any member of the public would like to come up and ask any question about anything on the agenda, including the presentation, you may come forward, give your name and address, and be heard.
Ken Schaffenhauer, 780 Millbrook Road. Wasn't my intent as far as, I guess this was just kind of a serendipitous, I had another question related to something else, but.
You're allowed to ask more than one question.
All right. I've lived on Memorial Park for 50 years. My childhood on Elm Street, backing onto the handball courts, and presently close to the North Little League field. It's a great thought as far as just making use. The town is not getting any bigger. Only wish we had the old Holly M. Davis property back and everything, but making use of the property we have. As Councilman Canigo said, the KBG field probably wasn't going to be a viable option considering the 100-year flood we keep having every year and such. Just a couple things related to it. Is lighting on the table for the additional fields or part of the discussion?
You mean like night lighting?
Yeah.
No, we're going to leave it the same way as, I mean, we haven't had any real
Okay.
discussions about it, but my thought was same as the Little
Okay,
League
yeah,
fields.
because as backing onto the park, the basketball courts are kind of centrally located, so you have a little bit of buffer from the both sides of the housing. And I do recall as far as however many years ago, when there was a discussion as far as lighting the hockey rink, the neighbors at that point had kind of rallied their troops to fight that because of just bringing in late night activity. And for the most part, with the size of the field, you're looking at elementary school, maybe middle school, so really not looking at night games, so that would be a good thing.
So just so anybody might be listening, what we're saying is that the council is not considering that, the council was never considering that, and we're not moving that direction.
Sure. Okay, and I think you'll probably still be looking at lighting for the basketball court, because that tends to be, moving the basketball court, that still seems to be more of a nighttime activity. Just looking at my notes, timing-wise, I know you're hoping to start this as soon as possible. I would imagine trying to, if you start in the spring or whenever, trying to disrupt the Little League side because it's going to be encroaching on it pretty closely and everything. So just when you're figuring out the timing of everything, because in the case of the softball, you're gaining a softball field, so you're not losing anything else there. But if you are bringing in the heavy equipment, little kids, probably not a good mix as far as some springtime activities. There was discussion as far as the bathrooms. Certainly, bathrooms are essential. I would venture to say the existing bathrooms in Memorial Park are probably only open 10% of the time. The bathrooms attached to the rec office really only open during summer camp and the concerts in the park and items like that. And the space-wise, it's been a couple years since I was last in the rec office there. It's really small rec office and rec storage, which has sometimes taken on a life of its own. I would use the term dumpster fire, where you need to climb over stuff to get in and through it to get anything. So bigger or at least well-organized would be the key on that. And I know there's been discussions, you're looking at probably at the other end of the town. I have no idea what the current state of pickleball is, and that's probably just a minor modification as far as nets and lines. But if you're pooling dollars and everything in projects, I don't know whether that's something that would be potentially tied in at the same time, or...
I think the pickleball is, we already approved the lines a couple of meetings ago, right, for some, didn't we? Didn't we discuss them?
We discussed them, I don't think we approved them.
Oh, we never, okay, so they're still on the table, but I
But they
don't
would
think the
be-
two projects are tied in.
They'd be over at the tennis courts.
Yeah, it's the tennis courts, so.
And just as the drawing on the softball field, I would assume it would be a skin infield as opposed to the grass that's shown there?
Yeah, I was actually, I didn't want to bring that up, Ms. Custer. I assumed the grass was an error.
It's great. Just purely conceptual, just.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll be a true softball field.
Okay.
Of course.
Good. All right. That is the only question I had related to this. I did have a general KBG question.
Go ahead, Ken.
Which, because with Jason here, so we had the second flood this spring, which I think it was Northern Arrow was the contractor that came in and reclayed the softball field at KBG. Whether it's because of Carolyn's absence, I've tried to reach out through Carolyn, and at the time, we're having an issue with the field outside of the first base line, running down the base pass. It's just a sandy area. We continue to have people just, we're not naturally coordinated at this point in our lives, but guys running down the field just are falling. I had to fill out an accident report as one of the players just running, fell, planted his hand and tore the webbing of his hand, which had him spend 8 hours in the emergency room. So I had reached out to Carolyn. The response was, well, Northern Arrow says it will take time. Well, we're now probably 6 to 8 weeks out since that was done.
Were you aware of this? I didn't think so. Were
I
you
had-
aware of this? Okay, Ms.
yeah, and just
is,
so if
you
I
know,
can just-
she's
so,
on
yeah.
leave, so we need to run all of that through Ms. Apertola and Mr. Melito. So whatever you might have sent to Carolyn, I need for you to resend to both of them.
Okay.
Because that's a serious matter and needs to be expeditiously handled.
Yeah, because I had also reached out in Carolyn's absence. I had reached out to the rec commission, and I think it was supposedly discussed at the last meeting. Nothing came of it. I finally got a bounce back email from Carolyn because so I had just recently emailed Michelle, and I'm sure day camp has taken priority as far as what she's just trying to get through. But I'll put. A lot of times it was just text messages, but I can send a email to whoever, just
Yeah,
with,
could you please send an email to Ms. Apertola, Mr. Melito, and CC me,
okay,
as well as, I'm blanking, who's our rec liaison?
Me.
Indira, yes.
okay. I know the council people probably have email addresses on the website.
Yes,
Jason, okay, all right,
all right.
great.
Anything else?
I think I took more than my 2 minutes that I'm allowed,
But you offered some good
oh, and
thoughts
fun- and-
on the project, and you offered your support too, which was
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, and I know if at any point there are committees or whatever where you look for people, certainly, as I said, I kind of know the park like the back of my hand, so I'd be more than happy to offer any assistance or at least the neighborhood side of things.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Great, thank you very much.
Thanks, Ken.
And thank you, Ken. Anyone else want to offer? No? Okay, Mr. Costa, I just want to say one more thing to you before we go. Sure. Could I have a motion and second to close to the public?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So, Mr. Costa, during our discussion just before we opened to the public, there was a motion to reconceptualize the office over where the two deltas were, the triangle and the chevron shape. But then there was a discussion of whether we should just leave the building there and renovate it. Can you please continue to have a conversation with Councilman Canigo and
Sure.
and any other council person who would like to discuss this? Councilwoman Kinsella?
I have not been in that, Mayor, I haven't been in that building in years.
Yeah, and also Ms. Apertola, and Jason, and so that we can get an idea of whether we want to leave, because the building currently has bathrooms, whether we want to simply renovate this current building, or whether we want to tear it down and move it. I think it'd probably be cheaper to renovate it, but maybe not. Sometimes renovation costs just as much as moving.
I think going back to the whole idea was to open up that south area, so if you have something
More
there.
visibility.
And you have visibility. That was and again, from what my understanding, I don't know if this was part of the program or not, to move the rec offices at that location. So that was, I thought, part of it. If it's not, then.
I think the Councilwoman Bastide's reasoning that we really, it's a much more central location over where either the cursor was or where it was for program execution.
Okay.
And so it's going to be the council's decision, but I think it makes sense for us to explore either building a new building over where the cursor was on the screen or renovating the current
Existing,
building.
okay.
And I think those conversations can be handled with the subcommittee and yourself, and that recommendation can come to us in
Absolutely.
July, and then
Or when we
final
go out,
decision
when we
August.
go into the park, I think that's probably the best thing. Look at it and say, this probably makes the most sense, and whatever your
So that.
Your
would
wish
have to
is
take
my
place-
desire.
That would have to take place in the afternoon because that site is active with camp going on until about 12:30.
So since we're all here, what time of day could we all pretty much make it? Would 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, which would be something?
I'd prefer closer to 5 if we could.
Yeah, me too.
Does that need to be advertised as a public meeting?
No, I think it would be a site visit, but Mr. Lagana, what is your opinion on that?
If you are meeting 5 members or more and establishing a quorum, yes, you should have a public notice. So I would just keep it to under your quorum.
All right, then let's keep it under quorum. The quorum would, of course, be 4. So we need 3.
Don't worry about that.
So Councilwoman Bastide would be 1. Is there any other member of council who feels that they would, and I'm going to exclude myself because I've walked through the park a million times. This idea has been an idea that has been ruminating, and I like the idea. So, and I can visualize it, so I'm okay.
I'd like to go.
Okay, that's 2, and we would have room for 1 more.
I would like to go.
All right.
I'm not familiar with
And you
the
guys
type
have
of-
been ruminating with ideas, so I don't think
I've
you need
gone
to be
over
there
it.
as much.
I
I've
just
gone over it with
offered my name
Jason
in
100
case
times
others-
already, so.
Okay, so
I'm
this
good.
would be a meeting of Councilwoman Bastide, Council President Kaufman, and Councilwoman Malari. And you'll arrange that with our professionals?
Whatever you tell me when to be there, I will be there.
Can we decide right now?
Anytime, 5 o'clock or closer to 5.
Wednesdays and Thursdays are bad for me, so,
Why don't you throw out a date?
okay. I could do the 19th of July. I could do the 25th of July, the 26th of July.
19 is fine with me.
And for you, Michelle?
Any of those are fine.
So the 19th at
19th.
5 p.m.?
19th.
Okay. And Lizette and Jason, you'll be there? If you could?
Okay.
Actually, I don't know if Lizette needs to be there, but Jason, you can be there? All right. And we're good with that?
July 19th, 5 o'clock, right?
Okay.
Okay. Mayor, one thing I noticed that I looked at this so quickly, there was no room for a statue of myself on this concept.
Oh.
Mr. Costa,
It's going on
Put it in,
continent.
yeah.
I think the committee was gonna make it a surprise, that's why it's not on there. We were gonna have a surprise unveiling, Robin, not tell
Now
you.
you ruined it.
That's it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Great seeing
Thank you all for
everybody.
being here.
Take care. Good seeing you.
All right, we are now up to item number 9, appointment and personnel changes. Could I have a motion and second? We'll move this as a group. Approve the revised list of camp staff on file with the Borough Clerk's Office. B, approve the resignation of Tim Carroll as Assistant Chief in the Fire Department effective June 25th, 2022. C, approve the resignation of, how would I say this?
Katia Minaya.
Katia Manaya, Accounts Payable Clerk effective June 29th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Since this is a personnel change, roll call.
Councilwoman Basile?
Yes.
Councilman Kanigo?
Yes.
Council President Kaufman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Malalari?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to move as a block Resolution 22-206 through 22-215, skip 216, and include 22-217, unless there is a desire in the council to have a separate vote.
I just wanted to pull out the farmer's market, just to point out that we do need to have a member from the Board of Health on that committee, and they are picking someone for that tonight at their meeting, so
Okay.
it will be taken care of.
Ellen?
I just, 22-211, not for a vote, I just was hoping if the borough administrator could, for the benefit of the public, describe where Section 7 is on Bogart Road. Section 7, yeah. From the pictures, it looks like it's an expansive, is it from Howland to Continental?
Yes. Well, a field inspection. Well, that's what we are applying for. And then based on the award, because right now, Section 6 ends at Howland, so based on the monies that we do receive, then if we receive the full amount, great. If we don't, then we'll reduce the scope.
But the next section to be worked on is between Howland and Continental, and however much money we get, we'll do as much as we can.
Exactly.
And then, I guess, the engineering firm will determine whether we start at Howland or we start at Continental?
No, we'll start at Howland.
At
They'll be
Howland.
continuing the current sections that have been done.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Any desire to hold out? All right, then. Could I have a motion to move 22-206 through 22-215 with 22-217?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call.
Councilwoman Bastidt?
Yes.
Councilman Canigo?
Yes.
Council President Kaufman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Malalari?
Yes.
Okay, could I have Council President Kaufman as Finance Chair move 22-216?
Payment of the bills at a regular meeting of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of River Edge, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, held on June 27, 2022. Be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of the Borough of River Edge approve the following expenditures. Current fund, $203,342.10. Capital fund, $143,624.91. Grant fund, $17,323.32. Trust other fund, $13,897.63. Open space fund, $1,600. Developers escrow fund, $2,770. Recreation trust fund, $18,599.64. So moved.
Could I have another member of the Finance Committee second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call.
Councilwoman Bastidt?
Yes.
Councilman Canigo?
Yes.
Council President Kaufman?
Yes. Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Malalari?
Yes.
All right, great. For discussion, a draft open space referendum ballot question.
It's in your packet. I included a resolution to be adopted at the next meeting because in early August, the borough clerk has to submit to the county clerk what our referendum question will be to include it on the ballot. And to authorize a question, there needs to be a resolution doing so. So I drafted a general election question. The information can be amended, such as the amount of the tax to be raised for the open space, the amount of years. If you want to use any example on where to allocate funding, and as I had reported earlier, the current balance will be $48,305 as of today. And then once this year's collection, which is the last year of the current referendum, that's about $148,000. That would be added to that. So you would have $196,000 in your open space trust fund. And if it's not approved by referendum, then any recreation, historic preservation, property acquisition for open space projects would have to come out of debt service out of capital. And at the last election, 1,219 voters voted in favor, 1,004 were opposed.
Oh, wow.
Usually, I've been working with open space since I've been in local government since 2004, and it's always very, very close. When it passes, it's by a slim margin.
So the interpretive statement really becomes the area where we have to look at it. Do we think the current interpretive statement is, well, first of all, is this something we want to do? I would assume so.
Yes.
Yes.
Good. So if the council can take a few moments to carefully read the interpretive statement, and we can delete, we can add, we can revise.
The only thing I'm going to consider is maybe just breaking it down a little further and putting a monthly figure. Some people like to see it broken down monthly. So we have $39 per year to make it quite clear that it's a small monthly figure that we're talking about to raise very important funds for the borough.
So maybe we'd remove the $39.19 per year and say how much it would be per month. Because we don't want to give conflicting amounts, because that would distract. Is there any objection? All right, so we're going to change from approximately a certain amount per year to approximately a certain amount per month, deleting the year and putting in the month amount. Now, what about the dependent clause at the end, which lists the amount each year? Do you think we need to have that amount listed? I don't think so.
I think it's
I
good.
think it's good too.
Okay. And then
Talk about the 148,000 figure?
Yes.
I'm with you guys. I think it's fine.
What about the last phrase, which is highlighted in yellow?
I think it's good.
I think it's good.
All right, so we've had one revision. We don't want to delete anything. Do we want to add anything?
Instead of including to match, which will allow the borough to receive matching grants, is that what we're trying to say?
Well, the funds would be used to match any grants.
Right, so is there a way that we can phrase it in such a way that it's very clear that the reason that you would match is that you're getting other free money? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna suddenly magically turn this 148 maybe into 300,000, by doing this. So it's not just about you're putting out as a homeowner $3 a month.
It's allowing us to
It's
obtain a
also gonna
match. Yeah.
be paid back to you by money that you're gonna receive elsewhere. I'm not saying that it's not fine the way it's written, but,
Well,
like that kind of
Want to add that in?
in people's
Hold on,
brains.
Well, the grants are only 50%. It won't, so if we put in 148 and we're
We
getting
could
a
get
grant, we're only
74.
getting,
Okay, so I misspoke as to the actual amount, but just the idea that this is not just you're being taxed, by using these funds in a smart way, we can get extra money by having these funds. If we don't have these funds, we can't get that money that's
How about,
available out there.
allowing us to, something like,
Seek further grants?
yeah, allowing us to seek additional grant funding or I don't know. something.
Yeah, no, I think that's great, because I want the average voter to understand that it's really about getting additional money, because otherwise, these projects have to be funded by us in full. I just thought,
But how it's broken up into two separate with the comma?
Yeah.
I almost think that the 148,000 per year, then you could put a sentence after that that says, this includes, or does not include, or including matching grants from any state, federal, or county entity, something along those lines. And then almost like the example of the revitalization of Memorial Park can stand on its own as the example.
So you're saying you're
that's-
Add
suggesting
the
to
grant
us,
piece to the,
To
right
the
after the
previous
148.
Right, because almost you're giving them a total and say,
Uh-huh.
well,
so they're saying.
This
you know,
is, yep.
this
That
is
makes
not.
That's a good idea.
So, was that, do you want us to give you a verbatim, or
Yeah, so
are you
would-
comfortable?
Would be approximately 148,000 each year to maximize
Our-
receipt of grants, maximize applications for grants.
Yes,
Which in turn would allow the borough to maximize grant applications. How's
I like
sound?
that, which in turn. Say that one more time, Darren.
Which in turn would allow the borough to apply for and receive matching grants, right?
Okay.
Matching state or county grants.
Yeah.
Yeah, state, or county, and let's put the word funds in there.
Yeah, grants, yeah.
Grants a little bit too vague.
Funds, yeah.
Let's put funds.
Let's claw them back, like Josh likes to say.
So read it back to us if you could.
So the total amount the tax would yield each year, depending on the total valuation of all homes in River Edge, would be approximately $148,000 each year, which in turn will allow the borough to apply and receive matching state or county funds.
I would actually take out the depending on the total valuation of all homes in River Edge, because you put in the approximately 148,000.
Mm-hmm.
And it shortens that sentence.
Yep.
Yeah, it seems less like a
Good
German
catch.
sentence.
It's a bit of a
Yep, perfect.
Would be
redundant statement,
approximately
because it's approximate.
148,000, which in turn will allow the borough to apply and receive matching state or county funds.
And then, as an example of the allocation of these funds is for the revitalization of Veterans Memorial Park, I think that hits home.
Yep. then
And
a
just end
period-
it there?
Yep, a
Yes.
period there.
Right.
Okay.
Take out the including, yep.
Okay.
Are we comfortable with that?
All right.
All in favor, please say aye.
All right.
Any opposed, any abstention? All right, so
So
we,
it'll be on the next meeting.
great. All right, fun. New business. Councilwoman Bastide.
I just wanted to alert the council, the mayor, and the public that the second annual storm drain contest was held at Cherry Hill and Roosevelt, and the winners were selected. And Jason Melito has identified 2 storm drains where their designs will be painted. The one will be at Continental near the new crosswalk, and the other will be on Howland near the entrance to Van Saun Park. So if it pleases the council, I'd like to share the names with Lizette so she can invite the winners to be recognized by the council.
Awesome.
Okay.
And maybe we could have some sort of certificate.
We
or-
usually do a we did last year, we did certificates for them,
Great.
so.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstention? Anything else? Any other new business? Any old business?
Just wanted to mention the farmer's market is starting on Thursday, 3 to 7 at Continental Avenue and Memorial Park. And we're going to have live music from 2 bands, as well as a great variety of vendors, including a fantastic farm, Ward Farms, Ice Cream Lady, Hackensack Brewing, and many others.
And this might be an opportunity, if you have time, to stop by to wear our wonderful council shirts, so that as we're there, we can people can see that we're supporting this, and that might be nice. Also, I need to do another picture for Facebook page. We can either do a formal picture, shirts
Can we
and
talk
ties.
about that
or
separate?
we- What?
Can we talk about that later, separately?
Okay, sure. Okay. Anything else? Okay.
I just,
Go ahead.
Our summer playground camp starts tomorrow for the kids, and it's from 9 to 12. And I just saw an email from our camp director that Friday is the bike parade that starts at 11:15.
Oh, fun.
Okay, bike parade, that'd be another opportunity for us, if we're available, from bike parade when?
At 11:15 on Friday.
11:15 on Friday. Okay, any other new, old business?
just want to mention that 4th of July festivities start July 1st. Movie in the Park at KBG, 8:30 p.m. July 3rd is Music in the Park, which starts at 6 p.m.
Did you
And-
say July 1st or July 2nd?
July 1st is the movie in the park. July 3rd is
Sure it's
the
the
music.
second?
No, it's the first.
It's the first.
Okay. Okay,
I think it was the second last year, possibly.
okay.
So, and Music in the Park is at, on July 3rd at 6 p.m. And then the parade starts on July 4th at 11 a.m. And the family fair at 12 p.m. at Memorial Park.
Okay. Just panicking for a moment. Give me a moment. Yes, okay, great, thank you. All right, wonderful. Capital, just general.
Just recently, many of our projects are in the punch list status, such as Continental, Riverside Co-op Roads. We awarded our 2022 ADA ramps that also includes Fire Company 1 and 2, and the parking lots. And the county approved the specs, the plans for the CDBG sidewalk repairs. So that is also listed here, was approved, and we're going to have our bid opening. So we're just waiting, the one thing that we're waiting for is the state to approve Bogart Road 6, so that way we could go out to bid for section 5 and 6.
Excellent. And I believe that the company that's removing stumps this year has been out and about, because I've seen it on Manning and stuff like that. Do we know where they are in the stump removal? Yep.
That would have been a Jason question.
Yeah, okay. But I know that they've been out grinding stumps that were identified last year. Okay.
Could
Go
I
ahead.
just say one thing? Last time I had reported that the county had identified some intersections that were going to be restriped, and it looks like they've done some, if not all of them. Midland was done. The crosswalks were done at Midland, I noticed the other day. So just want to thank Lizette and the county for taking swift action to take care of those.
Thanks goes to Jason, he made sure it got done.
We're good?
Well, yeah, I forgot to mention, sorry.
All right.
I just wanted to thank all of our vendors who are going to be there this week. I also wanted to thank the DPW. They've been super helpful, the health department, Lisette, the mayor and council, the committee, and the musicians.
All right, excellent. Anything else?
It's thanks to Michelle for all this work on the farmer's market. She's taken it upon herself to do the job that several people did in the past and has done it amazingly, so all credit.
Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
All right, could I have a motion and second to open to the public on any issue?
So moved. Second.
There is no public member in the building, but we needed to follow that process. Could I have a motion and second to close to the public?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Council comments, are new and old business kind of included that, but is there anything else? All right. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all. Great job today.